Hey, good folks, Dr. Charlie Brown here. Welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you can join me. Let's take our 3 deep breaths and we'll go ahead and get started there. Remember that you're breathing into your belly and filling it up like a balloon. One more, breathe all the way into the bottom of your belly and release. As I am sitting here in the midst of my own stuff, certainly both physical stuff and social, psycho-emotional stuff as well. I also just trying to do some things, getting some things finished, completed. I've been reflecting on the power of intimacy. I asked just before I started this video, I asked Spirit, I said, Spirit, speak through me. And the word that came to mind was intimacy and how we process intimacy and how important it is to take the time to actually process intimacy. Intimacy first starts with ourselves. Do you know yourself? Are you telling the truth about yourself to the world? Because really that question turns into, are you telling the truth about yourself to yourself? I know that I've been on a very long and involved journey to come to understand myself very, very well. I understand when my mood changes. I understand what triggered my mood change most of the time. I understand how I relate to myself. I keep my own company. I enjoy my own company. I also understand that I know how I relate to others. I know how I show up in public spaces. I know how I show up in private spaces. I understand my fears when I'm not doing something, when I go into analysis paralysis, I think they call it, where you're overanalyzing in your head so much that you don't take any action toward the thing that you're doing and talking about. So I know myself very intimately. I spent 2 years in deep circle with amazing women to come to learn myself in that way, and that is that is a whole journey all by itself. My cohort sisters and I, for my master's degree, none of us really feel like we were ready for the deep level of everything, of knowingness that ensued when we embarked on that program. And really taking time for that. So I've taken concerted time and effort to get to know myself, to come to know myself, and I've created a life that has allowed me to do that. Now, to do that in everyday life with so many other demands on your time and energy, it takes commitment. It takes courage to say, yes, I'm going to do this thing for me. I think it makes me a better partner. It makes me a better daughter, a better sister, a better auntie. Other roles I play as a woman in my life, I think that me knowing myself and me having a pretty good grasp on myself in that very intimate way, that very personal way, I think that makes me a better person who shows up in the world. And part of that has really included taking time to process shifts and transitions and what new levels look like and who's included in these new levels and who's not included in these new levels, and what parts of myself are included in these new levels and not included in these new levels, and what that means for me, how that means to show up in the world. I'm in a transition. I feel like I'm at the beginning end. Well, I guess that is what a transition is by definition. But I feel like the old has ended and the new has begun. So I would say I'm at the beginning of a new shift in my life and a new level in my life, and really figuring out what that looks like. But continuing that same intimate awareness of myself in this new level. I've been having new thoughts lately, thoughts that I've never had before. And whereas they might have terrified me 5 years ago, even a year or two ago, or even 6 months ago, some of them, I'm like, now I'm ready. I think I'm ready for this thing. And so that is something to just be present for in transitions, in when people come or leave out of your life, really taking time to process that. I had to do, at some point I felt like it was a mass exodus, and I had to do a grief ceremony where I really celebrated and offered well wishes toward their continuation on their journey, but away from me. And really just grieved and really just allowed my grief some space and some time to process through. When there's a conscious, maybe uncoupling, I would say, when there's a conscious undoing of a particular relationship, it's okay to say, hey, I need some space. Yes, we might continue in this new way, but I need some space to process what the old way was and what losing it means. So really just being present for all of these things for yourself first. You can't really do that for other people until you've done it for yourself. So until you have the tools, until you've built up the muscles, as it were, to create that space for other people. So I will leave you with that for today. And just say, take good care of yourself if you're processing through transition, whatever that transition may be, even if it's one version of you to the next. There are some things that need to be lost, and I think that that's important to acknowledge and recognize, that you can't take everything with you, and everything is not for every new level. All right, good folks, if you want to find out more about what I'm doing and what I'm into, you can check out my website, drcharliebrown.com. And if you check out the media and resources page, I've been doing a lot. So there's quite a bit of entries in that page that if you're interested in learning more about me and what I'm doing, that's a great place to start. Until next time, I want you to take great care.